This was Canada? Whoa, what is going on over there? That is the Red River Rebellion. Rebellion? Looks sick, let me join. Don't mess up the timeline. Fine. The rebellion was the conflict that arose from Rupert's Land being sold. What are you saying? Who's Rupert? Let me explain. In the late 17th century, this land was Rupert's Land, owned by the Hudson Bay Company. This land was used primarily for commercial interests, mainly the fur trade. Fur was huge back then. Everyone wanted to wear the skin of dead beavers. During this time, the Europeans, mainly French and Scottish, and indigenous people were trading partners and allies. They both inhabited Rupert's Land and were a total power couple. Eventually, they married each other, resulting in offspring, which we call the Métis, the stars of today's video. So the Métis are half indigenous and half European, the European part being French and Scottish. Bingo! What's this Red River? This is the Red River Colony. I thought the river would be red. Anyways, how was life here? I don't know. I didn't live here. Check out my new Michif vocabulary. Michif? It's the language the Métis speak. Hey, Tanashi!
Huh?
How's life here? Well, there's lots of hunting, non-stop traveling, religion, flooding, fighting, and the British hates us, which sucks, since they rule this whole continent. How was gaining independence? Difficult, but thanks to the Northwest Company, we did it. But then the Northwest Company started to annoy us a bit. Marcy! The BNA Act has been officially passed, meaning Confederation is now official! And Canada East, Canada West, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia just became Canada!
Meanwhile,
The fur trade is crumbling. We're broke. We must sell this land fast. We'll take it. Mate, I'm not letting you rule this whole continent. Get lost. I have some cash. That's practically nil. Wait, you're British, and you British folks want us to become a strong, independent nation. That's why Confederation happened. Us owning Rupert's Land benefits the both of us. Besides, I've got these awesome plans for expanding westward, and this land is perfect for that. Sure, I'll give you a 96.25% discount. Best discount ever! While discussing land claims, Canada agreed to acknowledge First Nations, but the Métis aren't classified as First Nations. They're two separate groups of indigenous people. So the Métis feared getting ignored and losing their land, their home, their culture, their traditions, their life. They weren't consulted at all? Not once. Rude. New character intros! I'm the Métis leader of this rebellion and the founder of Manitoba. Am I a hero or a traitor? I'm a Canadian expansionist and lieutenant governor of Rupert's Land. I was executed only because I went against the Red Colony's government. Blasphemy! I hate you, Louis. You're looking at the Prime Minister of this country. I built the Canadian Constitution. I built this nation. Enthralling. All the Métis were fuming, especially Riel. Guys, grab these weapons I gathered. Surveyors are gonna barge in here to survey the land into square lines, far from the river. How dare they? Métis! Assemble! We will shoot. Don't underestimate us, Métis. I just wet my pants. Me too. We're not trained for this. Let's skedaddle. You shall not pass. I ain't dealing with this. Wait, there was no fighting? None at all. But it's a rebellion, and rebellions involve fighting. Which is why some people think this should be called the Red River Resistance. They should rename it. The Métis formed a provisional government so they could negotiate with the Canadian government. In the Convention of 40 Métis representatives made a list of rights that they were planning to show Ottawa. It had terms for them to join the Confederation. Bonjour à tous! Qu'est-ce que nous voulons? Nos langues doivent être maintenues? Absolument! C'est vrai que nous avons besoin de nouvelles écoles et de nouveaux ponts. La terre doit être parfaite pour la construction. Vous avez raison. Je suis d'accord. We should also protect our traditions. We don't want to be assimilated. Don't forget an independent government that actually has power. And we should vote for our legislator. It is our land after all. We have to give you all of this?
Ce n'est pas beaucoup de choses. Mon Dieu, quel est votre problème?
It's literally basic needs. Do you want to kill us? Yes, I mean... Fine. I wish to propose the Manitoba Act, where you will receive about this much land and your customs will be unchanged. Sound cool? That's all you're giving? Fine. This is quite generous for your standards. But things didn't end well for everyone. Look at those poor First Nations on those reserves. Elucidate. These are the numbered treaties. The Manitoba Act is the blueprint for them. Though there are 11 of them, we'll only be focusing on the first 7. They were signed from 1871, a year following the Manitoba Act, to 1877. The government's main goal was to assimilate the First Nations and expand westward even further. There have been countless of times when the government lied to the First Nations in previous treaties, which made the First Nations reluctant to sign these new ones. However, no other way was feasible. Unfortunately, the British didn't improve morally. Previous promises were broken, there were delays in transporting goods, sometimes they never even got the promised goods. The reserves were crappy, and many other irritable things. The government also liked to verbally say they'll do something. Give me your land and I'll give you these farming tools. Sweet! But not write it down in the treaty. It's been a decade and we still haven't gotten... Actually, it doesn't say anything about us handing you farming tools in the treaty. So we don't owe you anything. Cheerio, you gullible brats. Oh, and you really should try to be more European. Your culture sucks. There were also many translation issues. It kind of went like this. If you cede this land to us, we'll give you materials for healthcare matters. What does cede mean? They want you to share the land! Yeah, that's what cede means! That's cool. Sign me up! So, how did the rebellion affect Canada today? It led to the creation of Manitoba. It also protected the Métis culture, traditions, practices, language, and rights. That protection remains today. Another thing that came out of it is that it taught the Canadian government that they have to listen to all perspectives, or else it will lead to resistance. One more thing is that it divided the English and the French. With Thomas Scott's execution, controversy arose. The English didn't like it, while the French were happy with it. And that's the end of the video. Bye guys!